We're 2 minutes late here. I'm trying to figure out my camera, and I just went with the dinky laptop camera that I have, and I apologize about that being late. But we're here, and I'm excited to be with everybody. My name is Kevin Norman. I'm the head of analytics here at Credit Suite. I dive deep into data. That's my passion. That's what I do, and I'm really grateful for my job that I get to do that. In our live streams, we usually cover something related to business credit, fundability, getting loans, and all that. And all those things are very important. And while we'll continue to talk about those things, today we wanted to take some time to dive into something slightly different, but just as important to succeeding in your business. We're going to be talking about the traits you need as an entrepreneur to succeed in your business. What does it take to succeed as an entrepreneur? And honestly, I would love to see some of your thoughts as we get started. You guys are the ones in the seats. I'm an employee right now. You guys are the entrepreneurs. Send in the chat the traits that you think are valuable as an entrepreneur. I've just put some thought into this. Credit Suite does have a unique perspective. We've served over 40,000 clients, and we've seen things that succeeds, things that work, things that don't work. So I'm going to cover some traits, some skills that are pretty obvious, but also I want to talk about some of the things that aren't as obvious, that what we see at Credit Suite that really make a difference. So feel free to engage in the chat, please, if you can. What traits do you think are valuable as an entrepreneur? And to start us out with, I'm going to start us off with a little stat. I'm a data guy, so I really like throwing out numbers. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, from the BLS, show that approximately 20% of new businesses fail during the first 2 years of being open. 20%, 1 in 5. That's not bad. Let's bump that up to 5 years. That number jumps to 45%. So almost half of businesses don't make it to 5 years. And 65% during the first 10 years only will fail. And only 25% of new businesses make it to 15 years or more. 1 in 4 businesses will make, and we'll define success here as making it as 15 years. I know there's a lot of different metrics that you could define as successful, but for our purposes, we're using this metric of lasting 15 years. So what does it take? How do you last 15 years? How do you grow? How do you scale? What are the traits that I need as an entrepreneur? So before we dive into that, I want to draw some wisdom from Investopedia. According to Investopedia, the top 6 reasons a business fails. I want to talk about these because the reasons why businesses succeed are directly related to why businesses fail. And failing to do a certain thing is going to fuel our list of things that are good that we need to succeed. The very top reason that, according to Investopedia, why businesses fail: market mismatch. Trying to solve a problem that isn't a pain. How many times have you thought of an amazing idea? I've thought of these myself plenty of times. I love this idea. I think it's so great. Let's do some market research. Do some market research. Turns out this is already solved, or that's not actually a pain because people do this instead. Idea next idea. So that cycle is a really healthy cycle to get into. And according to Investopedia, the biggest problem is when people identify that idea and they run with it. And then they, obviously peter out because what they're trying to solve isn't a pain. Number 2, second reason is business planning, or failing to make a business plan. The difference between an idea and a business comes down to acting on a plan. The very even establishment of a business, getting an EIN from the IRS, is an action based on a plan. And everything after that is an action based on a plan. So failing to plan is planning to fail. We all know that. And that's reason number 2. Reason number 3, and this, I thought this was interesting. I didn't pre-plan this, but reason number 3 is too little financing. The third top reason for businesses failing is a failure to get financing for the business. You're literally at a live stream right now from a company that makes this a non-issue. We make it simple for your company to finally qualify for and get the financing that you need. Let's move on. I could harp on that for a long time, but we're going to go on. Reason number 4, bad location, internet presence, and marketing. I think they could have reworded this a little bit better. In my words, it's put your stuff in front of the people that need it. Make sure you get visibility. So lack of visibility. How many people a day or a month are seeing your product? How many people are seeing it repeatedly in a month? Lack of visibility is reason number 4. Reason number 5, not adapting, unwillingness to change, being too rigid. A little success when you start your business, you start getting money, the ego will say, man, I just got some money. That means I did something right. That means I'm not going to change that thing. And the more money you get, the less things you want to change. We've seen it too often at Credit Suite with businesses, with our own business. When you have something that works, changing that thing that works is scary. But we far too often misinterpret what is working and what is not working. This is why my position as a data analyst is so valuable. When you get to dive deep and separate those two, what's working, what's not working, it translates into incredible value to your business. And when it's small, when you're, let's say, less than 5 years, less than 10 employees, it's incredibly easy to go through this process. And far too often, business owners don't go through this process and they become complacent. They think that what they're doing is working and things are starting to peter out. It's okay, we just need to try harder. This is when nature strikes and takes down the unsuspecting, the unprepared. So be willing to adapt. Giving you a precursor into our list here. And the last number 6, the final reason why businesses fail, according to Investopedia, is expanding too fast. Businesses that last more than a few years or even several months more often die of indigestion more than starvation. If you get the proper funding, then it's pretty much exclusively because of indigestion, which is completely within your own control. So when you are taking on more clients, do you have the infrastructure to service those clients? Is your pricing model appropriate for introducing products into the market, for example? Is your pricing structure, is your compensation structure, all the little things? Is your business putting on its big boy pants and growing up and getting an HR department? Are you getting an accounting department? Are you taking care of your books? There's a ton of little things that when you grow fast, you need to take these things, you need to take care of these things that can easily become big problems. And when put together, the chain effect is the result of the demise of a lot of businesses. So those are the 6: market mismatch, lack of business planning, too little financing, lack of visibility, not adapting, expanding too fast. Those are the 6 reasons. So let's dive into the meat of why we're here. We know why businesses fail. Each and every one of us probably have a failed business. If we're on our very first attempt, congratulations. Let's make this attempt work. Let's make it not a part of a statistic. How do we get this to a point where we're confident that this is going to last the long haul? This list is put together mostly by yours truly, and I know that I'm not the most authoritative person on the planet to give you a list of these things, but I hope you'll agree as I give you this list of qualities and things that you need to succeed as an entrepreneur. Number 1 is tenacity. I love this word so much, and that's why I put it in number 1. Being tenacious is defined as the quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly. And I'll throw out a couple other definitions according to the internets. The quality or fact of being very determined. Determination is a synonym. The quality or fact of continuing to exist. I love the word tenacious because to me it connects to a overabundance of enthusiasm when it comes to believing that what I have is going to work. And if I am fueled by that belief, if the belief is there, if the why and that foundation of my heart is in the business that I am trying to make work, then there's nothing that should stop me. I will be able to make this work no matter what. Um, Tenacity is the ability to overcome obstacles. It's the ability to recognize when you need to change. It's never letting go. I could talk about tenacity for a long time. Let's move on to the next one. Number two is being resourceful and using your resources. I know far too often we see, of the 40,000 businesses that come in the door, these are people that have raised their hand and said, "Hey, I need help. I would like to know more about business credit. I want to be able to get more financing for my business. And I realize that this is possible. And so I'm coming to you as a resource to be able to make that work." So our businesses that come to Credit Suite far more often than the average market does get funding, see the success that they have wanted when they started their business. And if they never came to Credit Suite, who knows where they would be at? Who knows if they would have ever gotten funding or if they would have gotten the right terms for their company. When you take a step back, if you don't know something, if you don't know how to do something, how quickly do you turn to the best source that you know of that can educate you, whether that's the internet, do some self-research. Independence is always important there, but also how quickly do you ask for help? How often do you raise your hand and gather the resources that you need? Number three, and I talked about this earlier, is being willing to change, being adaptable, putting your pride aside and saying, "Yeah, I created this business. This business is my child, and this project is my child. This, curating this software that does this thing for us, and it does it so well. This is my baby." But maybe it doesn't work. Maybe there's things about it that need to change. Overcoming your pride that this is your baby, that this business is your child, and saying, "You know what? My child's not perfect. I'm not perfect. My ideas are not perfect. Yeah, I've put a butt ton of energy into this, and that should not go to waste." You should always salvage anything about something that's not working as much as you can. But being willing to recognize that something's not working and then willing to change that. Having discussions with your people and asking for their feedback, getting this cycle. We use the term OODA loop. I'm not going to go into that term right now, but we use the OODA loop a lot, where we review things that we've implemented and ask, is it working and how can it be better? Yeah, and this can be as big as, is my product a good fit for the market? And do I need to offer a different product? Okay. That one I think is pretty obvious. I don't need to go into a lot of detail there. The last trait, or at least the biggest one I want to talk about that I think is not as obvious, is being realistic. This may not be one that enters your top 5 or even your top 10 of the qualities that you feel like are important, but this is important enough and it doesn't get talked about enough in the world of entrepreneurialism that I think that it deserves some space. Are you realistic with your business? Do you have goals? Yeah, 10x. Grant Cardone, we want to expand our business 10x. If we shoot for the stars, we'll hit the moon. Yes, I agree with that. But owning a business isn't for everyone. And I'll give you some personal experience with this. So I am an employee of a company and I have dreams of owning my own business one day. I'm looking for opportunities to do that. I am in the data engineering realm. And so I'm thinking, okay, consulting. Let's build this business around data analytics, data engineering, consulting. Great. But the more I've dived into it, the more that I've found that owning a business, there's a cost to doing it right. Do you understand the cost? How much time it's going to take you and how much money it's going to take you? I have a family that, I have 3 kids, a wife, and our life here. I love when I get to check out at 5. I know that doesn't resonate with the audience here a lot of the time, But sometimes there are entrepreneurs out there that are succeeding, that are having a good time doing business, but that are sacrificing things that they don't know that they're sacrificing, or that they're not choosing to be aware that they're sacrificing. So this, in the word realistic, it is be aware of your external factors. Talk to your family, talk to your friends. This is what it takes to succeed as a business, and being realistic about it. Far too often, I think people, entrepreneurs, they fail because they're not willing to sacrifice these things, and they don't realize it until it's too late. So many business owners end up having relationships that fall down because they didn't realize that that was what they were sacrificing. So, are you in a spot where your area of sacrifice and your area of reward are in cohesion? They're in balance. Are you someone that can recognize that? And have you taken the time to talk to the individuals around you? Hey, I'm starting business. This is what it takes. I need your support. Having the support of people around you and your immediate success group, is what I'll call them, is essential, so crucial as a business owner to succeed. So moving on, I just want to throw out some other worth mentionings, things that, of course, you'll want to make sure that you are keeping top of mind. And I throw these out just as a reminder. You're listening to these lists, and I hope that you're taking them to heart. But here are some other items that hopefully will trigger, oh, I need to do that. The very top of this list is communication skills. Are you actively listening to the people around you, to your potential customers? Are you actually hearing their problems and trying to solve the problems, just being a general problem solver? Which is number 2, is problem solving skills, being problem oriented instead of solution oriented, focusing on what the pain is and what it would take for that pain to go away. Number 3 is leadership skills. A lot of entrepreneurs are doing this on their own, and a lot of entrepreneurs have employees that are working with them. But do you know how to motivate someone else? How to make tough decisions on behalf of someone else? Do you know how to provide direction to someone who needs that? Number 4, adaptability. This is something we've already covered, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. Time management. And how often do you go past your schedule? Are you missing meetings? Are you going past deadlines you set for yourself? Do you know how to prioritize? Are you working on the most important thing that day? Do you know how to recognize what's most important that day? So Google, how do I recognize what's most important? How do I prioritize? Tons of awesome material there that I think pretty much everyone is underutilizing. How do you prioritize and work on what's most important? Innovation is on this list as well. The ability to push the envelope with a solution. How do you maximize the value that a asset is giving you? And how do I expand that so that it doesn't cost more money, so that I can service more people, or service them better, or service them for less? One of the last ones is persistence. We talked about tenacity, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that. The last one is something that I think is underutilized as well, and this is financial literacy, the ability to budget for financial planning. That can provide a very strong foundation to recognize the areas of your company that need attention and need to go. And you can take an assessment with this, actually, if you go to creditsuite.com/consult. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the chat here. Alfredo, do you mind if you put that in the chat really quick? creditsuite.com/consult. You can take an assessment on financial literacy. And that concludes the content of what we wanted to cover in today's live stream. I did want to remind you that we have a $1 Million Business Challenge going on. Feel free to check that out as well. I don't want to get the link wrong. So Alfredo, again, I'm going to call on you. Thanks for letting me pick on you. That is going to be $1 Million Business Challenge. Let's see if I can find it in the link. Okay, perfect. $1millionbusinesschallenge.com. Thank you so much for putting that in there. That concludes our live stream today. Thank you. There's a QR code on the screen. Feel free to scan that. Thank you so much for putting that there. And thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate this time I get to be with you. And we'll see you in the challenge. I'll talk to you later. Bye.